We have breaking news to discuss as Jordan Romano has officially been let go by the Toronto Blue Jays as they have non-tendered both Romano as well as another player who played for the Toronto Blue Jays last season. And in a bit of a shocking turn of events, there is a very big possibility that Romano has played his last game as a Toronto Blue Jay. So I'm going to break that down much more in this episode. But before we get into it, we are proud to announce that this video is brought to you by Rentals.ca, who are proud supporters of Team Canada. And while they've been supporting our national team defend their home court in international competition, they've also been helping thousands of Canadians find their home floor all across the country. And it doesn't matter what city you are in, whether you're in Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, Halifax, Winnipeg, Mississauga, Edmonton, Victoria, St. John's. It doesn't matter where, from coast to coast, Rentals.ca has a ton of options to find the perfect place and price for you. And the best part is the website is clean. It's super easy to use. You can pinpoint exactly on the map where you want to move, finding all the available options in your area. So find your home court with Rentals.ca. And thank you again to them for sponsoring this one. Check out the link in the pinned comment as well as the description. And shout out to them for supporting Team Canada, supporting us, and supporting you guys finding the best rentals across the country. So thank you again to Rentals.ca for sponsoring this video. But we're here with Peter. Peter is in via audio today, so no face for him, but you will hear him in a brief moment. But Peter, the Blue Jays did it. We obviously had a video on this earlier today. They have officially, I guess, Jordan Romano's let go. He is now a free agent, and they have non-tendered the former All-Star. You can see this here. Blue Jays are non-tendering Jordan Romano. Source confirms Jeff Passan and Shai Davidi. And Peter, let's get your initial thoughts on it. There is still a world where he returns in a different figure, but as of this point, he has been let go, and he is officially a free agent as of right now.
Yeah, and lucky for some viewers, they won't be seeing my face in in this video. But yeah, Nick, this is a move that we were expecting to happen here for the Toronto Blue Jays. It still comes as a bit of a shock because he's been so consistent when he's been on the field. But there's a lot of rumors that his elbow injury is a lot more severe than we originally thought, and we truly don't know how long he could be out for. So that is why the Blue Jays pulled the trigger on this move. And like you mentioned, we mentioned it a couple of times in previous episodes that there is a chance that he returns on maybe a long-term deal with less AAV, kind of soften the blow for the Toronto Blue Jays. But as of right now, Jordan Romano is a free agent, and I don't know. I don't know what the future holds for him. I don't even know when he throws his next pitch in Major League Baseball. That's what we're hearing here, and that would be unfortunate if it were true.
Yeah, clearly his elbow has been a huge factor. And Keegan Matheson actually released a tweet a few minutes ago saying the Blue Jays' decision to non-tender Romano has to be heavily influenced by the health of his elbow, which they know well, and how that projects into 2025. Obviously, a healthy Romano is exactly what this bullpen needs. He could still return to Toronto at a different number. And again, he missed a lot of last season. I see here from Avery Chenier of the Gate 14 podcast. Can't believe this actually happened. The elbow can't be in good shape. Would love to see him back on a friendlier number. So, again, there is the side of it where maybe they're working on something behind the scenes because the bullpen desperately needs help. It still needs reinforcements, and getting rid of your best bullpen arm, at least for over the past 4 or 5 seasons, is he's had 3 really good years as a Toronto Blue Jay closer. So I don't know. It's very interesting to me. And again, Peter, I think there is a world where they work out a deal. You mentioned the number earlier. Whether that's $4 million, $5 million, it's going to be less than we assume the $7 million per year that he was projected to make. And again, you look at their stats here, and Jordan Romano has very interesting stats. He's a very obviously good closer. He had a 2.5 ERA for basically 3 seasons, a sub-3 ERA for 3 seasons. And I also gave you a hint at Dylan Tate's ERA, who we'll get into in a little bit here. But ultimately, you think back to what Ross Atkins said in October. He said GM Ross Atkins pointed to some relievers already on the roster who have, quote, done it before, but this team needs a legitimate closer going into the season. When Romano was in his best in that role from 2020 to 2023, it simplified so many other decisions. So, again, Peter, it seems like, whether you want to believe it or not, maybe and hopefully Romano is back at a different number. Either that, or they clearly have some other alternate plan here that they are going to run with that $7+ million.
Yeah, and you would hope so, because that's one of the biggest areas of need that this team has going into the season. Sure, you need bats and you need offense. That's been well documented, but the bullpen was by far and away the worst in Major League Baseball last year. And they didn't have Jordan Romano at their disposal. They didn't have an Eric Swanson at 100%. So things need to fall into place for this team. And it's hard for me to imagine them making a move like this if it wasn't necessary, or if they really didn't have another choice. And that's what it seems like, unfortunately. So again, I wish all the best for Jordan Romano, and I hope that he can come back to the Blue Jays on a team-friendly deal that maybe gives him a little bit of insurance going forward too. You need to work out a deal that works best for both sides, and I think a 2 or 3 year deal at 3 or 4 million a season, Romano would definitely sign up for that, especially if he has concern with his elbow. So remains to be seen, but yeah, with this money that you're saving now, maybe you have to overspend on a reliever, which is something that the Blue Jays typically don't do. And we've mentioned Tanner Scott. We've mentioned Blake Trinan, who's obviously a World Series champ now and was a big reason why the Dodgers won in 5 games against the Yankees. So there are some options there. There are some contingency plans that the Blue Jays can go after, but yeah, this is definitely a big blow for them.
Yeah, and at this point, maybe they have. I mean, I hope Ross Atkins has alternate plans with this money, because if not, their bullpen is still in the just as bad shape as it was to end the season when they finished 74 and 88 just a couple months ago. So let us know down below if you're sad to see Jordan Romano go. And ultimately, it was if it is, and it was his last game as a Toronto Blue Jay, then if it was a great run for him. He was a
Great
two-time
career.
All-Star, only 31 years old. So I'm sure some team out there, if not the Jays, will give him a flyer. And ultimately, it'll be a matter of how much money that is. But I don't think it's going to come close to the $7 million. So ultimately, it'll be interesting to see. But I was hinting at it here with the screenshots. Dylan Tate is also non-tendered. So the Blue Jays are expected at non-tender reliever Dylan Tate. Sources tell me in Shadavidi. They were intrigued by Dylan Tate last year, but he had a projected $1.9 million salary. And Peter, some fans were a little bit on edge about this because, again, Dylan Tate, he was a good reliever in 2022. He came up with the Jays. He didn't do great. He only played 4 games with them, but there was an assumption at the time that they were going to keep him, and for $1.9 million and a bullpen that is as bad as it is, Dylan Tate's probably better than a few of the guys like Zach Pop, for example, last year, who had really bad seasons for the Jays. Do you have any opinion on Dylan Tate being non-tendered? So that's 2 of their, again, Dylan Tate didn't play a huge role. He played 4 games with the Blue Jays, but it's a guy who's 30 years old and he's been on a good team as a reliever in the past in 2022 and 2021 and really 2020. He had 3 solid years there as an above average reliever. So they must have a plan here, because if not, they're just letting some of their key pieces go.
Yeah, and when you look at the farm system too, Nick, I don't think there's a single guy that you can pinpoint that is going to come up and be a valuable contributor. I don't see a reliever in the farm system that can be a back end guy for the Blue Jays starting next season. Maybe we're missing someone. Maybe someone has come out of nowhere and can truly shine in a role like that. But as of now, things are looking bleak, man. And Dylan Tate, yeah, maybe 1.9 is a bit steep, but this is a guy with experience and someone who has logged some pretty important innings in the past. So this is another shocking move.
Yeah.
Are they totally just revamping this bullpen? Is that what they're doing? Or are they going to make some trades? Are they going to get Jimmy Garcia back in free agency? What are they going to do here, Nick? Because Jordan Romano is gone by all assumptions. Dylan Tate gone. You had Genesis Cabrera leave.
Also gone, yeah.
Right now, yes, right now the only 2 guys that you have that I can rely on are Eric Swanson and Chad Green. And Eric Swanson has an asterisk next to his name for the way that last year went, and maybe he's not as good as we thought he was. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt for everything that went down in spring training, and hopefully, I mean, luckily his son was okay and he was able to focus on baseball, but some things are more important. So I'm going to wait and see on the Eric Swanson front. But yeah, Nick, for me, only 2 names right now in the Blue Jays bullpen that I trust to eat some important innings. And then after that, I really don't know where they're going.
Yeah, I mean, their plan, hopefully they have a plan, because what we're seeing, whether that's Juan Soto, like I've showed you guys a couple times on the screen, something is happening, and we'll keep you up to date with all of it. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. Again, thank you to Rentals.ca for sponsoring this one. Let us know down below what your thoughts are. See you later.